Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of TV is Our Real Mom. I'm Dave,
I'm Catie.
and you are listening to our weekly Survivor recap podcast in which we break down the latest episode of Survivor. And what episode is this, Catie? Is it episode 6? Is it episode 5?
There seems to be some discrepancy on that matter. If you're going just by weeks, this was week 5, but technically the first episode being a 2-hour premiere, this is the 6th episode and the 6th boot. So,
Right.
I don't know.
We discussed this last week, how Rob Sesternino was kind of rallying the community to be like, hey, let's all get on the same page. This is episode 6 now that we're on, and we tried to follow that, but it seems like
it seems like there was some confusion with that because we had our thumbnail is Sandra and it said episode 5, and I think a lot of people wanted to watch a recap of last night's episode thinking ours was that, but it was not.
Yeah, I mean, we normally get like a couple 200-300 views or something, and like after last night there was just this like ramp up in views of like 200-300 more people watched it, and we got like 5 thumbs downs out of nowhere. We're like, what's going on here? Like, why? What did we do? And our thought is that maybe we just suck. But
yeah, that's very possible.
It's very possible. But our thought is like everyone wanted to watch something on last night's episode, and they were mad at us for like misleading them. So I don't know. We'll just like try to name things more clearly, and we're still gonna call this episode 6, right? But we're just gonna label things clearer, I guess.
Yeah, this episode 6, but technically the 5th week of Survivor. So
right, yeah. So
what you're looking for, tune out, man. Tune out.
Just tune out now. Okay. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, what did you think of the episode?
Well, I thought it was pretty good. But yeah. I like, once again, I'm just left wondering what the legacy of this season is going to be, and that's not a good way to be thinking about the season, I guess. But the beginning of the season has been really good, but it's also been kind of devastating because you're losing such awesome people and such a high caliber of gameplay, and it makes me feel like, okay, these people don't believe that they are capable of competing with players like that, so they're getting rid of all the good people who are capable of playing well, and so that leads me to wonder that the level of the gameplay down the road is not going to be great.
Yeah, I understand that concern, but if you really stop to think about it, I mean, I think it's just more indicative of how stacked the season was from the get-go, because I mean, you look at, we still have Cirie,
who's been invisible.
Yeah, she's been invisible, but she's still there. I mean, we still have Ozzy. We still have, like, we're forgetting that how stoked we were that Jeff Varner was going to be back to play, and here he is, and he's still there. And I mean, I dig Zeke too, so there's like still lots of cool people in the game. It's just that it was so stacked from the get-go. You're bound to, you got to lose some big names. I mean, they're going to go at some point.
Well, yeah, you got to lose some big names, but we've lost all the big names other than Ozzy and Cirie. That's it.
Tony,
so we've left.
Malcolm, Sandra, JT.
That pre-jury trip is the best pre-jury trip that's ever taken place.
Yeah, at least Malcolm can hang. I
want a trip with all those people.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Usually the pre-jury trip is like a bunch of people you don't even remember. They're like, hanging out on the beach. They post their pictures on Twitter, and you're like, who are you? But I want to see these pictures. I want to see all the pictures from this trip and hear stories about it. I wish they could have video from it. Would be great.
Yeah, it seems like a fun group of people for sure.
Some Hall of Famers, some movie poster survivors, as Josh Wigler would say.
Movie coaster or poster?
Movie poster. I don't know what a movie coaster is, Dave.
Yeah, I thought you said coaster. I don't know.
Nope.
That doesn't make any sense though. Yeah.
It doesn't, no.
Anyways.
But yeah, so you're right. Like, I gotta think that, okay, Zeke, he got out Sandra. I mean, a lot of the credit goes to him. So does that mean he's a better gamer than her? Maybe that means there is something to look forward to as far as the gameplay. It's just, it makes me worried, because if Ty's going to be running the show, Ty sucks.
Well, Ty's not going to be running the show. I mean, he might be.
Yeah, but he's been like one of the stars of this season so far.
You have to show the idol stuff, like you just have to show it. So I don't know that he's been featured a lot more than just like finding the idols and talking about finding the idols and what it means, what the idols mean for his game. And
That's true.
I feel like that's all we're really getting out of Ty. Now I'm saying,
I do know what you're saying. If Survivor was all about finding idols, he'd be the one. But
yeah,
he can find idols every single day, and he still comes off as a terrible Survivor player.
Yeah, so this was a really, really exciting and entertaining tribal council. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was suspenseful, and I really wasn't sure which way the vote was going to go. I honestly didn't know. They did a really good job of that, but it's also one of the most interesting tribal councils I've ever rewatched, because rewatching it shed a brand new light on things. I really do believe after the rewatch that it was just all these people were acting almost the entire time.
I call bollocks on Ty acting. I don't think he's capable of that level of acting.
Maybe to some extent, a couple of these people were questioning, like, are we acting? Like, this is what we planned.
I don't buy that for a second.
You need to go rewatch it.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I don't think Ty's capable of that.
It's quite good. I mean, and here's why I think there's some evidence of this in the episode. They actually have a well put together edit of Zeke talking to Ozzy, laying down the foundation for this this acting. And he's basically saying, Sandra is going to be extremely difficult to get out of the game. We need to do something crazy to get her out. And we need to come up with a story. And I think Andrea is the one who says, what if we say it's Ty? And there's a real heavy story going on there where the three of Andrea, Ozzy, and Zeke are kind of saying, we need this big story that revolves around Ty being the biggest threat and needing to get him out. And I really do feel like they all came up with this big show to put on at Tribal Council. And I think maybe it got away from them a couple times where they felt a little paranoid, but ultimately it was all part of their plan.
Okay, so they had this big story that revolves around Ty, but they forgot to clue Ty in. And Ty is a loose cannon. You can't not clue him in. But I guess even if you do, he could get paranoid. But they showed him being like, I'm nervous right now. I don't know what's going on. They weren't talking to him. And Sandra said that Ozzy got nervous when Ty kept touching his pocket because that was a sign that he had an idol there. So that's why Ozzy didn't want to go for the Ty vote. I think that they were sticking to the plan of playing up the Ty thing so that they could convince Sandra she wasn't going home. But that Sandra's so good and Ty is such a loose cannon that it almost kind of became a reality. Like the Ty vote almost really happened until Ozzy and company saw him, handling the package in his pocket and thought, no, we can't put votes on him because he might, use that and I'll go home. Ozzy being Ozzy.
Right. And I do think, that's just as possible. And maybe the truth lies somewhere in between. But I also think about how calm Ozzy stayed the entire time.
But he had a panicked look on his face. Look at the look on his face.
No, I did rewatch it. And the look on his face, I think, is, like I said, it's sort of this thing where the whole thing played out the way they kind of talked about, but at the same time it's Survivor and you're always worried. You're always a little worried that this is going to get away from you. It's going to get out of hand. And I think it's a little bit of both, I buy
that it's acting. I don't buy that Ty was acting. Not for 1 minute.
I think he acted, and this is just my take, and we'll leave it at that. I think he acted some of the time. And then, maybe he lost it at some point. But I think at least starting out, he was acting. He was trying to he was in on it.
I don't think so. Typically, when someone is thrown out as the decoy, they show that person's reaction to that. Especially if they're already a paranoid person like Ty. And they showed Ty legitimately freaking out on the beach.
Right.
Like, if the editors are effing with us that hard, I think they should show us some of that, because I don't really like that very much.
Yeah, you should really go back and watch it. Let me know what you think on the rewatch. I found it very interesting. If anything, I could be totally wrong. I admit
But
it.
last week, everybody gave Sandra and Varner, Michaela such props for their acting, but no one's saying anything about this crew this week.
Yeah, I mean, why does everyone else like? This is just what I think. I mean, just saying.
Yeah, I'm just I don't know. I don't believe Ty can act a day in his life.
I didn't think he was doing a good job of acting. I just thought he was acting a little bit.
Okay.
I believe he was in on it to an extent.
I do not.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
I feel like they're going to be after him now.
Maybe.
And if he was acting, they'll have to let us know right away, because I know you were not the only ones that are somewhat confused about how that went down, because there was so much seemingly chaotic whispering and stuff. No one got up out of their seats, thank goodness. But and for the vote to just go the way it went, and Ozzy didn't get any votes, it was like, well,
it seemed like it was pretty well planned.
Something is amiss here. So I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? And I'd love to hear. God, I hope we get to hear about this particular tribal council from Zeke, Ozzy, and Andrea at some point. I hope they talk about it.
I'm sure that'll be a talking point.
Because I feel like they're the masterminds behind the whole idea of like Ty is going to be the scapegoat, but it's going to be Sandra all the way. No questions asked.
That's why I feel like they almost couldn't have told Ty, because Ty, he's got the biggest mouth in the game. He wouldn't keep it secret. He even told Varner Sandra was going home. He was not in on it.
Yeah, probably not. That's a good point. That would be risky. I don't know. I just rewatched it.
It's risky either way, because using Ty in any sort of plan is a risk, whether he knows about it or not.
Yeah, there's really no way around it. I mean, there's nothing you can do.
I feel like they should have gotten rid of him right away. I mean, I would. If I were playing with Ty, I'd be like, this guy he finds idols, he shoots his mouth, he's not good. Let's just get rid of him.
And now he's sitting there in the game with 2 idols.
Yeah, and Debbie has an advantage. So,
good Lord.
our theory that they're going to the end with someone is looking pretty good right now.
Did we ever state that theory on the podcast, or was that
I said Brad was going to take those 2 to the end.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean,
anybody.
Jeez. I mean, Ty, what do you think of this? Ty finds 2 idols in 1 episode? Thoughts?
Within like 20 minutes. I mean, it was kind of a rare thing, because he found one right before a swap. He went to a new beach where they probably hadn't found one, so he just took a chance and looked in the exact same spot. Lo and behold, no one had found the clue. So he got lucky, but also very smart to do that, to take that initiative. So
yeah, I mean, I guess you got to give him props there. Like,
I just wish those idols were in more capable hands, but maybe he'll surprise us.
Yeah. Steven and Rob talked a lot last night about, should Ty give his idols away as a sign of good faith? What are your thoughts on that? I'm curious.
I honestly think it can't get any worse for how they perceive him. Like, they already perceive him as untrustworthy and looking for idols, so why not be like, yeah, I looked for idols, but I looked for you, and now I'm going to share with you. And then you're making them complicit in your idol hunting, which could kind of put a target on them, but also make them trust you. So it could be I don't think it's a bad idea at all. You got a fair one.
That's a tough call, because you're right. His image is already so terrible. It's like anything you can do to repair the image, because the way your image is right now, you can't win the game. So anything you could do to like fix that up. But at the same time, it's like, if you get rid of your idols and you have no safety blanket, and they know you have no safety blanket anymore, I mean, it's very likely they'll just turn around and vote you out right away. Like, because none of these people care,
Yeah.
they would just get him.
And
I
in
don't
a
know.
game like this where there's swaps and merges, buying, like if JT had played his idol last week, he would have been swapped and probably been in a good spot. So
Yeah,
it's
it's really
not,
tough to say.
yeah. Well, I mean, you have to.
Yeah, he's got two.
Give him one. He's got a backup. They don't know that.
They don't know about the backup one. That's a good point. He can get the best of both worlds in this scenario.
He's in the safest spot to do something like that. Like if you give away your only idol, that's foolish and you deserve to go home. But if you have a backup, but you tell them that you're giving them your idol, you don't have to say your only idol or one of two idols. Just say, I'm giving you my idol. They won't think you have another one.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm just flummoxed by Ty. Every week I'm like, come on, man. Impress me. Do something. I mean, finding the idols that impressed me, but you got to have the gameplay savvy too.
Well, if it comes out that he was acting even a little bit in this tribal council, I think he did a decent job. But even if he was acting, like I said, I think it got away from him if anything. So even then, still not impressive.
You know how some people like are constantly like being clumsy, but then if you tell them to act clumsy, it looks forced. And
yeah.
Like that didn't look forced to me. That looked like baffled, paranoid, big mouth Ty.
Yeah, could be. Let's see. Point us in a new direction, Catie.
I mean, I guess we haven't even talked about Sandra yet.
Yeah, Sandra, the queen. Does the queen stay queen after this?
That's so funny to juxtapose JT's exit versus hers, because he had two winners go out back to back. And after JT went out, everybody was talking about how his legacy is tarnished. He definitely is taking a hit as a Survivor player. Whereas Sandra goes out just one spot later. She's still pre-jury. She's still pre-merge. And everyone's like, no, legacy it's enhanced by this performance. People are saying this is her best performance, but she just had too big a target on her.
Yeah, I mean, what's cool about this season for Sandra is you got to really see her, what she would be like as a hands-on player, someone who's playing a lot more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to see her play that way, you get to see that she's not someone who just like got it handed to her on a silver platter. She didn't have to do anything. You got to see that she's capable of, taking the game into her own hands. And I think that is really cool for her that she got to show us that side of her.
Yeah, and she accomplished, getting the other two winners out, so her legacy or her record can stay, intact. No one's going to touch that record, at least this season. And she, like, the whole first chunk of episodes was like sort of an homage to Sandra, like, and
Absolutely.
now another story is going to be told. Someone else is going to emerge, but she was definitely the star of these first 5 or 6 episodes.
Yeah, like Sarah's confessional, talking about, it really did sort of feel like a documentary about awesome Survivor gamers, like describing how a good game player does it. And
yeah, you could see it. And Ozzy and whoever she was talking to, who was it? Ozzy, Sarah, Andrea, like they knew how dangerous she was, and yet they were standing there listening to her, and you could see the wheels turning, and you could see them thinking, she's right. She has a point, but
yeah,
we have to stick to this.
Ozzy even says that. He's like, listen, I want her gone because I know what she's doing, but that's how good she is. She actually got me thinking. Like he says that. And he also says, we're going to get Sandra out, but she makes a good point about the 3, the Cochran 3. So, I mean, she even really solidified that idea in their minds that you got to split up the Cochran 3. And we're probably going to see that come into play very soon in the season.
Yeah, the merge is probably not far off. I mean, Aubrey's not with them, so I don't know why she was trying to sell that at the moment. But she's smart to say, yeah, if Debbie and Ty aren't gotten rid of soon, this is a definite possibility. And I believe it is. They said before the game it wasn't, but look at Sierra and Haley. They've seemed to put whatever they had behind them. So
Yeah, it sure seems like they're working together. I don't know.
I guess it still remains to be seen to what extent they are, but it seems like there's something, connecting them.
So speaking of that, we have the thing going on with Troyzan and Culpepper sort of coming together as the two men on that tribe. Sounds like Brad thinks he's in a fine position, but Troyzan says he's playing alone in the game. But Brad basically says, "Come with me, buddy. I got fan favorite Sierra Dawn Thomas." But
Troyzan has her too, doesn't he?
Yeah, they had a pre-game alliance, or that's
I guess they haven't even been together, so who knows if it's still a thing. But supposedly they had pre-game bonds.
Right. So, but ultimately you need a fourth. So does that mean Haley is the fourth in that group?
Well, this is what I was confused about, because I thought Varner had connections to Haley and Michaela from Old Mana, because they were all in that group that took out Tony, or that was with Sandra, that alliance she put together in 5 minutes. They were a part of it. So I thought Troyzan had that option. So to me, it seems like Troyzan does have options. But I also think Aubrey's a good option too, because Aubrey doesn't want to stick with her Mana people. She hates them. Yeah. So I think that's an easy pull. I think Aubrey with Brad Culpepper and Troyzan is a perfect spot for her.
Yeah, that's a good point. So does that just like leave out the other two then? Is it more like 5-2 at that point? Where it's
what other two you mean?
Michaela and who's the other one?
Haley?
No, I feel like Haley's in with them. She's voting with Brad, Troy, and Sierra. And I feel like Aubrey's in with them too.
Cerise. Cerie's been invisible. Like, I don't even know she's there. Cerie's there.
And that can't be good for her longevity in the season, right? As a character.
No. I mean, I feel like an invisible episode here and there is good, but that many invisible episodes, that's disrespectful to Cerie. But maybe they decided, okay, the beginning of the season will be Sandra's time. Maybe now Cerie's time is going to come in this later part of the season, middle part of the season.
Yeah, fingers crossed, because I mean, everybody loves Cerie. I agree. Mm-hmm. I would I'd like to see her do well. So
yeah, it'd be nice to hear from her once in a while,
Be nice to hear from you. Why don't you ever call?
You never call anymore, Cerie. I just don't know what you're doing, what you're up to, Cerie.
Anyways,
sorry.
Yeah, lost my train of thought now.
Yeah, like that's how forgettable she's been this season. Like I literally forgot about her.
Yeah, you did.
But the thing is, I can tell, like, that socially she's bonding with everyone over there. That's because she's good at that. So I feel like she could be making inroads, and them winning immunity is good for them because she can continue to make bonds with the Mana people. Because that tribe had a Mana majority, but one of them was Aubrey, and I don't think she wants to be Mana anymore.
No, I don't think so. I think she's over Mana.
Quite.
Over it.
You know what I liked about the beginning of the episode is how Aubrey was like talking about Sandra and how she's been like impeding her this whole game. And she's like, I need to learn something from Sandra. And like, I feel like maybe that's setting up Aubrey. Like Sandra's gone now. It could be up to Aubrey to carry on her legend.
That would be
and use it.
That would be awesome if that's the story arc they're laying down for us is wow, Sandra got me good. I respect that game. Let me take something and put it into my game.
I love it when a player can do that, can put aside the ego and be like, look, Sandra's been besting me this whole game. It's frustrating, but it's also impressive, and I need to take some pointers. Like, a lot of these people can't put aside their ego enough to see that, but God bless Aubrey. I need more Aubrey, too. More Aubrey, more Cerie.
Absolutely.
They can work together.
I think it's one of these traits of like the new school cerebral super fan player. Like they're going to be more capable of setting aside their ego and seeing it for what it is, the TV show and the game Survivor, because they've grown up watching every goddamn season and worshiping these people and maybe seeing it as a game and and knowing how, you know, how likable that is and how good of a thing that is to be able to say, hey, you know, I got bested. Let me learn something from this, you know. I think it's easier for
Russell
them.
Hantz could take a pointer from Aubrey. That piece of
Absolutely.
shit was on Twitter last night bashing Sandra. It was just disgusting. He's a disgusting little troll. I hate that guy.
But he was a fun character on the show.
Yeah, but he's a piece of garbage human in real life.
Probably. I don't know him, but I'm sure.
Likely.
Most
assuredly.
Well, I think it's time to talk about the best part of the episode.
Your favorite survivor?
My favorite survivor, Mr. John Cochran.
I can't believe we didn't guess him. Like,
how did it? Yeah.
It didn't even occur to me. And we should have been like, okay, who does CBS love? And Cochran would have come up, but that wasn't where my mind went.
Me neither. No. Like that, it just made so much sense. And I don't think we're the only ones that looked right past that. Like, yeah, I never heard his name come up as a theory.
No, I heard a lot of weird theories. Like Terry Dietz was a theory that a lot of people were putting forth. And I'm like,
that's a decent theory. You know,
I knew it had to be a winner, you know, someone who is worthy of giving advice. Like, I'm not going to take advice from someone who's never won. If they brought Russell Hantz out, I'm going to be like, look, man, you made it to the end and couldn't get any votes. I'm not taking advice from you. So,
but I mean, that's assuming that we know that the reason they're coming into the show is to be a sage or whatever.
Dude, we called that. Like, I had no doubt in my mind that's what was happening.
I found that to be Yeah, I found that to be the most likely scenario. You know?
And the advantage thing, we posited a guess at that as well. There'd be an advantage.
Oh yeah, that was all you. I didn't. That thought never crossed my mind.
Well,
that was really
kind of an embarrassment of riches, like with all of the stuff, you know. But I mean, I thought it was cool. It was a nice twist on Exile. Like, it's not like they're gonna do it every week. It's just a one-time thing.
You don't think they're gonna do it again this season?
No, I think it's done.
Oh really? Okay, that's cool. I don't know. I thought it would make sense for them to keep it going for a little bit and have a couple different guests, not just Cochran, but you know, a couple more.
So did I, but then I started thinking about, do you want 3 different advantages floating around in the game? 4 with the legacy and then 3 idols out there? That's getting a little crazy.
It's game changers.
But I don't know how they're going to do the Exile thing. Are they going to be like, okay, you lost the reward, so you are sending someone to Exile, or you won, so you're choosing someone from the other tribe to go to Exile?
Yeah. I mean, wasn't it wrong where Julia, and didn't she go to Exile Island, and wasn't that sort of just like a one-time thing, like one-time Exile?
Yeah, she went to the abandoned beach because they went from 3 tribes to 2, so she went to the abandoned beach by herself and had like the worst night of her life. And
right, and it was
they only did it because of the numbers.
Exactly, and that's what's going on here, right?
Yeah, so I don't think he'll be back.
So it would make sense that, yeah, no, I think the more you think about it, it would make sense that it's a one-time thing because they did it just for the numbers to, you know, what are we going to do with this extra person, you know? And why not give them a huge advantage?
Yeah.
What did you think of Cochran's performance in this?
I thought Cochran did an epic job of what he had to deal with. I mean, Debbie doesn't want to hear it, you know, like, is not the best person to be stuck on a boat trying to give advice to someone who doesn't think she needs any. But then 5 seconds later, when she gets an advantage, she breaks down sobbing in his arms. Like, clearly she needs some advice, but she's just too proud to. It shows that she hasn't even admitted to herself that she could take in advice because there's nobody there. Like, you're on your own. Cochran's not part of the game. Like, this is an opportunity to completely open yourself up, take advice from someone who's done it twice, learn from his mistakes, and come back and won. And I feel like she kind of wasted the opportunity.
Yeah, for the most part, I feel like she kind of came around, don't you? Like, she kind of, like Cochran, you know, he's such a smart guy. He was able to get through to her. He's like, hey, if I was you, I would be like, I need this, or like,
Hmm.
or I would be like, not cocky. I would say, hey, I need to be
Hmm.
more paranoid. I don't know. I felt like he got through to her a little bit.
Yeah, it did seem like he made some headway, but
But
whether or not
you're
it'll
right
stick with her,
at first. Yeah, it was like he hit a brick wall at first,
yeah.
and then he sort
I
of
couldn't
broke
believe
through a little
after what we saw last week and her response to "How's it going?" She's like, "Good." I was like, uh,
bit.
record scratch. I don't see how she could have that perception of how things are going when
Well,
that
yeah,
just happened.
yeah. The producers, they had to fill Cochran in on everything that had happened with Debbie, right? I
I
mean,
hope they let him know that she was on the verge of mental collapse. Like I felt like I was so disgusted and annoyed with her last week, but I got emotional watching her this week. Like she clearly needed this.
yeah, when
Um,
she broke down, I mean, that was a sincere breakdown. And,
yeah.
talking about how tough the last couple of weeks have been,
Hmm.
that's something you forget is like every individual out there is struggling. It's not an
Hmm.
easy experience to go through, although it can be fun depending on your circumstances. It's not easy. And
Yeah.
obviously she needed that. There's nobody you can trust in the game that you can just talk to
Right.
and not have some kind of repercussion, because you can't trust anybody.
No, you
So
can't.
to be able to have Cochran there, I can see how that, you know,
I would have been talking his ear off. I would have kept him there for hours. They maybe not wouldn't have let me, but I feel like it would have been really cool to see like Aubrey with Cochran because I know she looks up to him so much.
yeah,
But then imagine if it had been like Ozzy and Cochran. Like, didn't Ozzy call Cochran a wiener when they played together? Like, that would have
yeah.
been funny.
Ozzy really was mean to Cochran.
Yeah.
He was jaded because here's this nerd that's messing up my whole game, and he hates that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
um, could happen again to Ozzy. Absolutely could happen. We got a couple nerds left in the game. We got Aubrey. We got
He could get Zeked. It looks like he's working with Zeke, but Zeke will cut his throat.
Zeke would, but the way things look right now, I think Zeke and Ozzy are actually really tight.
That's
But
true. I think so too.
I think Zeke is extremely prepared
Hmm.
to cut Ozzy at the merge. I think that's all part of his plan.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as easy for him as he thought it would be, because I think Ozzy is doing a better job with his social game this season, and
Yeah.
I think him and Zeke are actually buddying up, and
Hmm.
it's going to be tough for him to cut him loose, but Zeke will do it. He's a super fan.
Yeah, he will
Yeah.
if he gets the opportunity.
Well, we're getting a lot of setup with him and Varner kind of being a future pair. So,
With Zeke
um,
and Varner,
yeah, Zeke and Varner.
I'm worried for Varner. I'm
Yeah, I
worried.
mean, next week, like, it could easily be Varner next week.
That
But
would
I
suck because
mean,
he's like one away from the merge, man.
I know. But the scene we're getting with Zeke and Varner this week, I feel like, is laying the groundwork for Zeke try to do something to save Varner next week. Because, like he said, he sees Varner as a desperate extra vote that he can use. And so if he can manage to save Varner, that's somebody he can use in the game,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's funny. I thought Andrea was going to have a deep run here at the beginning of the game, but this is a plan. She finally goes to tribal council. This is a plan that she appears to have been an instrumental part of, but it was like all Zeke getting all the credit. Like we didn't see much from Andrea in regards to this plan. She was there, but like,
She's very much there. She's very much chipping in. It's just, yeah, you're not getting the confessionals as much. She did get a confessional about Ty in that situation. I mean, these are the two, rewatching the tribal council and rewatching that minute-long scene of them talking about the plan to dupe Sandra with this
mhm,
Ty thing.
mhm.
That's it all comes together very interestingly on a rewatch. But she does have a confessional in that scene.
Well, I'm just saying, like, this was an opportunity to give her more airtime, and she didn't really get any. So I'm just wondering
Not
if
as much as Zeke, right?
man, Zeke was getting all the credit for this, and maybe it
Yeah,
was his
yeah.
brainchild, but
I agree.
it's
Yeah.
it's interesting.
So what do you think? Like, is this Zeke Varner thing going to go down, or are you more concerned that it's just going to be Varner next week?
Well, I just want him to make it to the jury. I don't need him to get any further than that. He doesn't need to get any further than that. Like, he just wants to make the jury for once in his Survivor career. So after next week, I don't care. But like, I feel like he should just not make waves while he's over there. If that's his goal, to make it one more vote off or whatever, keep quiet. Like, unless you hear your name that you're going to be next, like, just, I don't think you should be throwing names out there like Ozzy, because Ozzy's protected. Ozzy has friends. Like, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough spot. It's the worst possible spot he could be in.
Yeah.
For trying to make the merge. He is, because he is like at the bottom of the bottom of the totem pole. In the entire season, he's the most likely to go home next week.
Well, they could always get rid of Debbie.
Yeah, that's always an option. You know, maybe he could spin some yarn about her getting advantages at Exile Island, you know?
It's not untrue.
And he could also be like, that bitch is crazy. Let's vote her out.
And wait long enough and that will bear out, yeah. Well, especially once Brad Culpepper comes back, or once they merge.
Right. What else? What else we got in this episode? Should we talk about the advantages, the choices, the options?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I didn't get enough time to process what they were before she picked one. But they had to go through it fast, of course. But like, upon reflection, I feel like the tribe
reflection. Sorry.
I feel like the tribe one might be the best one to go with, because you're already kind of on the outs because you missed those first 3 days. So I feel like that'd be a good way to ingratiate yourself and make sure you're not the next one out. But a fake idol could buy you even more time. I don't know.
So you didn't watch that Facebook Live thing today with Sesternino?
No, I did not. But I heard Rob was hosting it, yes.
And Cochran was on it as well.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
Yeah. And it was very interesting. They talked about how Cochran was actually trying to pitch to Debbie that she should possibly consider the fake idol kit, because apparently there was enough stuff in there to make many idols. Like, so you could make multiple idols, and sort of, you could either like decorate the beach with them, or, you know, hide them around the beach, and you could keep one that you could use as a decoy.
You could plant one.
And another good point that Cochran made was this season was filmed before we ever got to see David Wright in Millennials versus Gen X, you know, get Jay with a fake idol. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe if they would have seen that, the fake idol would have seemed like a more viable option.
Yeah, I don't think, well, who knows how long Debbie thought about it, but I think Debbie she pretends to be smart and intelligent, and I'm sure she's smart on some level, but like, I don't think she gave it that much thought. Her first instinct went to the extra vote, and that was all she needed to know. But I feel like if she's a fan, she knows that the extra vote has always been kind of a curse. It's never worked. So how is it going to work in the hands of Debbie?
I feel like, on the surface, you're exactly right. Like, on the surface, the extra vote seems like the no-brainer. It's like the one I would have picked, probably.
Because it's the most obviously powerful.
Yeah, exactly. But it's misleading, because how do you play that extra vote successfully? Because if you're already on the wrong side of the vote, it's extremely difficult to use just one extra vote to change things up. I mean, it would have to be a really tight, it'd have to be a 1 vote difference. And then even in that case, the best you can do is force a tie. And a tie is different in this season too. It doesn't quite have the same strategy.
I feel like the extra vote only becomes powerful deep into the game. Whereas, a fake idol, you can, especially if you have multiple idols, you can get lots of use out of those. Or the tribe thing, the tribe advantage gives you, a better shot at winning and not getting voted out, or at least ingratiating yourself into the tribe and not getting voted out. So, whereas this extra vote, if the votes are against you, 1 vote's not going to save your ass.
Right. And the challenge advantage comes at a time where I think, what are we, 1 challenge away from the merge, or are we?
Well, this is all going by the speculation that because of Sierra's legacy advantage having to be used on when there's 13 people left, that the merge is at 13. And it has been the last few seasons, except Cochran. But
Right.
I think it's a pretty good assumption.
So yeah, if you assume the merge is coming, all she has to do is get through that challenge.
Yeah.
Maybe that challenge advantage is the way to go, you know.
I mean, to me, if I had like the choice of advantages and the extra vote was the choice, I would want nothing to do with it. But that's just because no one has figured out how to use it, and I don't know that I could either.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like exactly we talked about, it's how do you play that thing right? It's
Nobody
almost
knows.
it's impossible to get it right because, like I said, if you are on the wrong side of the numbers, you don't even know that. You don't even know which way the vote's going. So how can you use the vote properly? I don't know.
Stephen Fishback is a know-it-all. He knows it all, and he did it wrong. So, I mean, there's no one knows yet.
Right. Yeah, and the fake idol kit, I think that's a really cool one. That would be a fun one to play with. But if you didn't trust your arts and crafts skills, it might not be the way to go.
So you're telling me you don't think that was one of Debbie's many jobs? Come on, she could put idols together. Probe said that kit was stacked, and he was bummed she didn't pick it because it was such a good kit.
Oh, well, if he's bummed she didn't pick it, then that means
it's coming back.
Well, there's that possibility, but like that means no one picked it. No, there is no Exile Island, no more Exile Island.
Oh, yeah. I kind of thought halfway through the episode maybe they would continue it for a while, but then I was like, oh, they probably aren't going to.
Yeah, for the reasons we discussed. But I mean, I really do think it would be cool to be able to get like
just a revolving door of like Survivor winners.
Yes. I mean, how cool would that be? Like, get Natalie Anderson in there. Kim Spradlin.
Tyson, get Tyson out there. He's very knowledgeable about the game.
And yeah, why not Boston Rob?
Throw Boston Rob out there too.
Yeah, cool. What else you got?
Well, our sister Catie brought up an interesting point that I think maybe we should talk about. About are we entering a new era of Survivor? Do you remember like back in the day when people would come back, like, you know, Spencer comes back and you're like, oh, he's going to get picked off right away. Or the threats somehow, like they just let them get to the end, like Boston Rob too. Like, have we reached a point with all these people going out, Tony, Malcolm, JT, Sandra, is that just not possible anymore?
No, I disagree. I think
it's not a statement. I'm just asking.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought Catie was saying that that's how she felt, was it's not possible. I think
she seems to believe it's getting harder for these big threats to get to the end just because of who they are.
I think it really just depends on the season. I think you really can't underestimate that experience that they have. The reason they're a returning player, the reason they're a good, that doesn't make sense. There's lots of different reasons they bring players back, right? But the experience, the past experience, I think that's extremely valuable. I think you can't underestimate Ozzy being a fourth-time player, how much that's helping him. Like, we don't get to see it as much, but I think people really do, whether they know it or not. They can't help but look up to this person.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's done it 3 times. And he's like giving you all this advice and like speaking and showing, living the experience, living the game from experience. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that could be underestimated. And I think that can help people go far into the game. Also, we have Sari, who I think actually could make a deep run. I think Ozzy could make a deep run as well. So, you know, returning threat players.
Yeah. I think it's more likely that those returning players make it far if they are in a season with non-returning players. Like you had Coach and Ozzy in South Pacific, you had Boston Rob in Redemption Island, you have Penner and Scoopin in the Philippines. Like when you have that uneven mix, those newbies will definitely look at returners with some type of reverence because they've done this before. But I think when you have all returning players, and especially a season called Game Changers, you know,
it can go to their heads.
There's no reverence. I mean, there is, because they gave Sandra a standing ovation when she got voted out finally. But it's not enough for them to be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to keep you around and let you ruin my game. No, But like you also saw last season, Adam recognizing and other people recognizing what Zeke and David were, and waving the flag to get rid of them, and they did manage to get rid of them. I mean, the biggest threats in that season did not make it to the end.
Right, because they can see that these are clearly all-star type players.
Yeah.
Big characters that also love the game and know how to play the game. Those are the people you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it depends on the season, and like you said, I mean, look at we've had 2 fans versus favorites seasons, and both those seasons the favorites have come out on top. Just for the reasons you said, probably. I mean, they're going to have their way with the other people because they're experienced. But yeah, when they're all returning players, they're all in the same playing field, sort of.
Yeah.
At least in their minds.
I mean, I guess you saw in Heroes versus Villains, Boston Rob go out early, so there's no reverence there.
Right. It's tough to say, but I don't think I was actually shocked by that when I first started watching Survivor. Because I didn't realize when I started watching Survivor, I didn't know there were returning players. I didn't know that was a thing. Because I started in South Pacific where you did have returning players, but they
were just first-time players to you.
To me, they were first-time players, and they hardly mentioned that season, at least not blatantly. Well, here's the other thing: I didn't start watching from the beginning. Mm-hmm. If I would have watched episode 1, I would have realized Coach and Ozzy are returning players, but I didn't know. Like, I jumped in the middle, and I didn't know returning players were a thing.
So your first Coach experience was Coach 3.0?
Yes. Yeah.
That's upsetting. Coach 1.0 is the best Coach.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, it's interesting because when I first started watching the show, or when I first found out that there were returning players, I was like, that's stupid. I think I was even texting you about it one time. Yeah, and I was like, that's so dumb. Like, there's no way they could win, or there's no way they should win. I think that was my first thought, was they don't deserve to win. They already lost. Let someone else play. Don't come back and win a season.
That's what recruits think. Like when they have non-super fans or just non-fans who come on the show with a returner, they're like, we can't let them win. Like Jeff Kent. He's had his chance. About Penner.
Oh, like, yeah. Yeah, no, that, yeah, he was very much like that, wasn't he?
He hated Penner for some reason. Really had something against him.
Yeah. But, yeah, so when you find out, oh, it is possible that you can learn something from your first time out in the game, and you can be good at Survivor. Survivor is a skill in, a lot of luck involved in Survivor, no question. But there is some skill there too. And realizing that you can learn something and come back and play a skilled game from experience made me open to the idea of returning players. And I think all of that comes, basically tells you that returning players, big threats, always have a chance. It just depends. It just depends. True. Yeah. That's my long-winded take on that question. Sorry.
It's a good take. No, I just thought I'd bring it up because of the carnage of this season is on a level we've never seen. The pre-merge carnage.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the names; it's brutal. It's
horrible. So it's everybody we were excited about at the beginning of the season, other than Suri, and I was excited about Varner and Zeke and some people, but it's just.
Yeah, I mean, of the big names, we just have Ozzy and Suri left. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, the fourth timers are hanging in there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hashtag giddy up.
I love when they put a hashtag that no one even says.
Yeah,
she just talks about a pony and they say hashtag giddy up.
I wonder if anybody tweeted that. Like,
I should have looked. I should have
anybody.
But you can say hashtag giddy up about lots of things. That's what I hate about the Survivor hashtag. Like, you go on there and there's all this stuff about Survivor Turkey or whatever it is. It's like, well, I don't want to read this, but it's all that there is. So hashtags
I don't want to read no Survivor Turkey spoilers.
Well, it's in another language. I can't read it anyway, but like, it's all that if you Google hashtag, or not Google, if you Twitter search hashtag Survivor, it's all about Survivor Turkey. At least I think it's Turkey. It could be some other place.
Huh. Interesting.
When does Australian Survivor come back, Dave?
I don't know. I will probably watch it though. I mean,
It takes them a good year to film it, right?
oh God, it's like 70 days long, and there's like 15 or 50 contestants. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
So
insane.
it's an undertaking, so it takes a while for them to get production rolling on that, I'm sure.
You really only need hour-long episodes too. I mean, that show will show you that there's so much downtime on the beach, and you don't need to show it all because
like the pre-tribal discussions go on forever. You see several variations on the same conversation, and you're like, okay, editors are annoying sometimes, but I get why they chop it the way they do.
Exactly.
Boring.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's the same conversation over and over again.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
But, you know, we were also talking last night that, damn, I wish Survivor was 2 hours every night. It's not long enough.
Well, it sucks because it's always so good, and then you're done, and then you see the preview, and you're like, what? I need to see it now, and you have to wait a week.
So, good segue into discussing next week's preview.
Yeah. You're going to have to refresh my memory on, I only remember a little bit. I remember the Varner stuff.
Wasn't there like tears? Weren't they all crying?
Well, Andrea, it looked like they were struggling, like with the eating, just being tired. Like they're at that point.
Yeah, isn't it sort of the wear and tear of the game is getting to them? And
it seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's more like also the stress of the paranoia and the gameplay, the high level, and you really do have a cast of people here who most of them want it so badly, you know, like very badly. They want to win. So
yeah, no, yes, it's people that I talk bad about, like, you know, Troyzan and Culpepper and all this stuff, but they want it as much as anybody else does. So
absolutely, and they're looking around at each other like, you know, this is good, but we all been here. We know how this rodeo goes down. One of us is going to win, and the rest of us are going to lose. You know, and eventually that's gotta, with everything else that's going on, it's gotta make you cry at some point. I feel like.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just realizing that. You know.
So there's going to be some of that, and I think it looks like Andrea and Sarah are mad at someone.
A guy, right?
It sounds that way. And then Probe said something in his tease for next week. He said something about how the show continues to stay culturally relevant. So I'm worried there's going to be like a guy versus girl thing, you know, something that's going to bum me out because there was so much of that in what's it called?
The Election?
Worlds Apart. Oh, I hope not the Election, because this is pre-election that this was filmed. But
I thought you meant like a lot of gender issues or
well, maybe someone says something misogynistic or something, and that's what makes the girls mad. I don't know. That could be me reading way too much into it. Maybe they're just mad at Ty for what he pulled at Tribal Council if he wasn't acting.
Yeah, I hope. I'm really liking Ozzy and rooting for him at this point. I hope he doesn't go and say something stupid.
I know. That's what I was immediately worried about too. I was like, oh,
Ozzy, keep it calm, keep it cool, just like you did in Tribal Council.
Yeah, because it's Ozzy, Zeke. Zeke's not going to say anything. Varner's not going to say anything. Could be Ty. Yeah. I guess it'd be Ty or Ozzy. It could be Varner though too, because he's on the outs. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that was another big focus of the preview, is that Varner's on the bottom and he's doing whatever he can to sort of get out of it. And it sounds like he's going to throw Ozzy under the bus. So I don't know if he's just going to use it at the whole, you know, Ozzy's a big challenge threat, which is a very valid argument. Or if it is going to be, the girls are mad at Ozzy right now, here's my chance to throw him under the bus. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But I feel like that tribe won't go to Tribal Council.
I mean, we got so much in the preview. You never really can tell. You never really can tell if
it's going to be the other tribe.
But, you know, all of this stuff that they're showing that's going down, it kind of has this, it feels like a post challenge loss, you know, like a post.
That's what I thought about the Debbie flip out. I mean, it was post challenge loss, but it wasn't post immunity loss.
Right. Yeah. We don't know that for sure.
I feel like when they show the previews, they tend to focus on a tribe that doesn't go to tribal.
But yeah, you never really can tell.
Yeah, that's the editors are good at their job. They keep us on our toes. But I have a feeling it's going to be the other tribe going to tribal.
Sure. Yeah. So if they do, if they went to tribal, who do you got for losing.
Michaela.
Yeah, she just doesn't seem to be gelling like we hoped. I mean, she's
we
an
didn't get a lot of that, but I just think, I don't know. I have a feeling she's
overall, as a personality, she's just rubbing people the wrong way.
Yeah, no, it seems like it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I love her on my TV as a character, and she's probably a cool person. But yeah, she doesn't seem to be gelling on the island in the game. So I don't know.
Yeah, for some reason, that's my guess. I don't know why.
I can dig it. So we need to do MVPs. I never remember the order of these things.
Oh yeah, sorry, I did my prediction first. Well, why don't you do your prediction and then we'll do the MVPs.
So yeah, you're going with Michaela. I'm gonna say Jeff Varner.
That would suck for both of them because both of them haven't made the jury. And like last time, Michaela got voted out right before the merge.
Jury. Oh,
and now.
Yeah, I hate to put that bad voodoo on Varner. I love Jeff Varner. I completely hope I'm wrong. I'm just throwing out what I think is a likely scenario, and God, I feel terrible for him if that's what happens because I know
I hope
he wants.
That doesn't happen.
I know that's like his only goal. Like he doesn't even care if he wins; he just wants to make the jury. So, God, I hope I'm wrong. I'm just throwing out a likely scenario.
Why you gotta put that out there, man?
I'm sorry, bro. All right, MVP of the episode.
I guess John Cochran.
Yeah, I love it, John Cochran.
I mean, you have the opportunity. Why not take it, right?
Yeah,
to make
him
MVP.
John.
Yeah,
and then I think the obvious choice is Zeke, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
he seemed to spearhead the whole get Sandra out. He seemed to delight in being the one to lead the charge, to the only successful charge to get Sandra out of the game. And I loved the look on Jeff's face when she was like, "Don't do it, don't do it," and he was just side-eye, giving her the side eye. But you tell he wanted to do it.
Yeah. And I'd like to give it to Ty for finding 2 idols in one episode, but he
completely counteracted it with.
Yeah, he had blunders. He had some blunders in the episode, enough to pull him out of the running.
Poor Ty. It's tough when you find 2 idols in one episode and you still don't get MVP. I mean, that's how bad Ty is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any final thoughts on the episode?
I'm interested to see where the next portion of the story goes because I feel like one chapter of this season closed, and now we're gonna start a new one.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
And I don't know who's going to emerge as the star of this next part of the game. I have a feeling it's going to be like a Zeke or Sari might finally emerge a little bit, or Brad could continue to be kind of a star. But
yeah, I mean, you got to feel good about Brad. He's rallying troops, and he's a physical threat.
Did you find his shorts interesting? Did they get their swimsuits this week? Because he had some really interesting shorts on this week. But I did not notice. Like before, they'd all been wearing their clothes, and now they seem to have gotten their swimsuits. And his kind of look like clown shorts. They're like really tight, but they have really colorful stripes. I just thought they were interesting.
I got to go back and check that out. That sounds interesting.
Do it. He's got very interesting shorts on.
All right. Any other crazy thoughts for the episode?
No, that's about it.
That's all you got for clown shorts?
That's all I got, or the clown shorts. Other than that, we didn't get much from Culpepper this week, which is it's nice. It's nice to get a break. Other than him and Troy Zan being like locking it down. But yeah, even when they did show that tribe, they showed Brad doing something. So that seems to indicate his longevity in this game. It's like he's a man, I'm a man. We should team up against all these women. No, I don't want to put that on them. I don't want to put that on them yet. Yeah, we'll give them They're doing fine. Yeah. Give them a chance. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of TV is Our Real Mom. Thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Twitter at TV is Our Real Mom. I think I'm hilarious on Twitter, so I think everyone should check it out. She's running the Twitter machine. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, whatever they say. And we'll see you guys next time when we break down episode 7, we're calling it. Episode 7, week 6.
week 6. All right. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for listening.
Have a good night.